Think about how often during the day we find cool ideas, special quotes, interesting facts, or even big personal moments. Every time we do, we think to ourselves, I should remember that. Being successful means being someone who learns about lots of different things and gets knowledge from many places. It's like having a mix of interests that helps us grow and be better at life. A successful human being is one who has learned to diversify his interest and gather knowledge from a variety of sources. Gather enough good ideas in one area of life, and you will form a solid block. Gather enough solid blocks together, and you can build a completely new life. Each idea has its own right moment. As Victor Hugo once wrote, there is one thing stronger than all the armies in the world, and that is an idea whose time has come. When we go to a new house, we pack our things neatly in boxes with labels so we can find stuff quickly when we need it. But when it comes to facts, ideas, and things we notice, we don't have a good system, as though they're incidental rather than essential to our better future. Maybe the ideas you gather today don't seem important right now. But in the future, when you face challenges, the armory of ideas you have carefully and conscientiously assembled over the years will serve you well. You remember, failure more often than not is attributable to lack of information about how to succeed. We all can find the information we need to reach our goals. The problem is, not everyone has the discipline to collect the information in an organized way, making it easy to use when an opportunity comes up. When we gather different thoughts about a topic, they often join together to create a brand new idea. It's kind of like how tiny snowflakes, when you gather them up, can make snowballs, and those snowballs can turn into snowmen. Take charge of your own life by imagining and writing down different situations. Then picture yourself right in the middle of them. What would it be like to live in that city? How would you feel about doing that? How would you feel having those responsibilities or those freedoms? Choose a path and let your imagination take you to new places, new roles, and new chances. Imagine and write down your dream job. Describe your perfect relationship, state your ideal income. Outline how you'd like to behave and design your dream lifestyle. After that, turn your dreams into written goals with priorities and deadlines. Learn to paint these mental pictures and then, like an artist, create something of substance on the canvas of your life. Then use everything you have to make something important in your life. Add new things like colors, depths, dimensions, and meanings to where you are now. Explore and discover who you can still become. Set yourself free and explore the possibilities of life with paper and pen. There's no risk, no chance of failure. Stretch your mind, explore new ideas, and you'll see that life will offer you fresh opportunities, new experiences to learn and grow from, and circumstances that exceed what you had imagined before. You see, writing about events and circumstances, it helps you understand it better. If we only think about life in our minds, our imagination can give us wrong or twisted information about how things really are, whether it's good or bad. When we describe a situation in writing, we become more honest, accurate, and realistic. Reading what we wrote helps us create a new and clearer picture in our minds, replacing any distorted views. When we see things as they really are, not just as we imagine them, we can figure out how to make them better. Write about a current dilemma you are facing, whether it's personal, related to work, family, or money. Put it on paper exactly as it is. But remember, just writing about the problem is only the start. The next step is to carefully look at what you wrote, analyze it, and then find creative ways to solve the problem and make good decisions. A tendency to blame circumstances or someone else for your problem, instead of realizing they might be the reason. Many of our problems happen because we either didn't do what we could have done or rushed into doing things we shouldn't have done. Let me remind you again this: things get better when you get better. Passive hope never has and never will improve human circumstances. Often making a few small changes in how we think or what we do can solve big problems. Essentially, you must learn to view your problems like a scientist who puts tiny organisms on a slide. Use the microscope of truth to examine your situation and see its real nature, boundaries, and composition. And as you examine your problem, do what a scientist does. Write down what you observe. As you keep making your description of the problem better, you'll get closer to finding a solution. And speaking of solutions, make sure to write down what you finally decided. If it worked out great, it's important to remember. But if it didn't go as planned, it's even more crucial to record what happened so you don't end up making the same mistakes again. It's okay to make mistakes. That's how we learn and grow. Surely, most of our personal growth comes as a result of our errors. But what is truly unforgivable is to make the same mistake twice. Each mistake has its own consequences. However, the most costly error anyone can make is an error unlearned and often repeated. If something didn't work, it may be too late to undo the mistake, but it's never too late to make adjustments and revisions in your thinking. Making better decisions comes from developing good thinking habits, which you learn from practical experience, understanding what works and what doesn't. Becoming a more effective thinker on paper is a sure way of becoming a more effective person in practice. Usually, if we wait until the end of the day to write about what happened in the conversations in our journals, we might forget the specific details. At most, we end up with scattered bits of information. At best, we are left with scattered fragments. And it's hard to build an exciting future from mere bits and pieces of the past and present. You see, writing in journals is merely a way of capturing information. But when we read what we wrote, that's when we start turning that information into useful knowledge about ourselves, our surroundings, our relationships, our work, our money, our dreams, and how we can make our future better. Also, the simple act of carrying your journal speaks to the world. It says, I am a serious observer and participant in life's events. When you present yourself to life as a serious student, it opens up countless chances for you to learn, improve, grow, and make every part of your life better. Part of the human experience, perhaps the most important part, lies in learning to translate these events that occur outside of us into words and emotions within our inner world. The better we are explaining what's happening outside, the easier it is to understand our own feelings and struggles inside. Cause and effect always go hand in hand. It's hard to understand or deal with the results without knowing the cause. Keep in mind that all human emotions come from specific events or reasons. A better understanding of events will always give us a clearer picture of what's happening, helps us see the effects we might feel. When it comes to events and feelings, as you start expressing yourself honestly, your journal becomes a great friend. I strongly encourage you to write down your emotions instead of keeping them in your head. Writing makes strong negative feelings weaker, and strong positive feelings even stronger. Writing about your fear reduces its strength, and capturing your excitement magnifies its power. Think of your journal like a photo album that captures moments in your life. The only difference is that a photo album kept for a long time shows physical changes in you and your surroundings. Meanwhile, journals over time show how your thoughts and feelings have changed within yourself and about your surroundings. But the most important thing your journal does is help you communicate with yourself. It lets you speak to yourself and hear what you're saying about your life, your future, your relationships, and your goals. As you begin to develop the habit of writing down your problems, recording your observations, your thoughts, feelings, and reactions to what happens in life, you'll likely find yourself asking and answering new questions about your past, present, and future. As you begin to both ask and answer yourself on paper, you'll be surprised at how much you learn about yourself and become more aware. Life is always changing, and there are countless ways people experience it. Our task as human beings is twofold. First, we need to understand and explain what's happening around us. Second, we must express and share what's happening inside us in a way that others can understand. William James once said, it's really hard for one person to understand another person's thoughts. Even though we live, work, try, grow, discover, explore, and pray together, each person is like an island separated from others by the deep channels of not being able to communicate well. Writing in your journal is one of the best ways to improve how you communicate. When you get better at explaining life to yourself, you'll also get better at expressing yourself to the world. Put into more practical terms, when you get better at telling yourself what you want and how you feel, it helps you express yourself more clearly to others. As a result, you'll also be better at understanding what others are truly feeling and saying to you. You see, talking to people of the same age or with similar education, income, jobs, or beliefs is pretty easy. But what if two people seem really different? Like a teenager and a 40-year-old dad, or someone who didn't finish high school and a college professor, or a lawyer and someone without a job. That's when communication gets harder, but they are challenges that using a journal can help us overcome. You see, regardless of the differences in our outer worlds, inside, human beings are all basically alike. We've all felt sadness, maybe not from the same thing, but we've all felt it. We've all felt the happiness of accomplishing something, maybe in different situations, but it's the same feeling. Regardless of our outward differences, our basic human needs and feelings can connect us or create a bridge for good communication. By the time we're grown-ups, most of us have been through almost every part of life in some way. The problem is that most of the experiences have gone right on by us. We have never taken the time to remember them, think about them, or understand how we felt, how we reacted to others, or what was important to us during those times in our lives. Imagine if you deliberately wrote down the events in your life with paper and pen so that you always had a wealth of experiences from which to draw. Imagine now what an incredible impact this awareness could have on your life. How it could help you connect better with your children, clients, coworkers, and neighbors. You see, if you will but take the time to capture how it is for you at any given point in your life, you'll always be able to understand how it might be for someone else at their current point in life. Even if the situations are different, the basic needs and feelings are always similar. We don't have to dress alike, go to the same schools, be the same age, or sex to feel the same way. Think of your journal as a guide for life. Use it to record all the different emotions you pick up from your experiences. I promise you that if you will take just a little time to capture your experiences, it will be worth it in the end. A journal is special because it gives you a good way to understand everything. Life, people, work problems, and most importantly, yourself. There's something magical about writing down a problem. It's like when you write down what's wrong, you begin to find ways to make it right. Use a journal when you have a specific reason, like needing to express, analyze, think about, explain, record, consider, or look at different parts of your life. You see, more than anything else, a journal is a place to document the development of your own life. It is a textbook that helps you learn more about yourself. Imagine you're describing a day at the beach, the crashing waves, the flying seagulls, the fairway sails. After writing about what you saw and heard, take another step and talk about your feelings, how you emotionally respond to life. Describe your feelings when you learn that John got the promotion that you felt was rightfully yours, when you hear that Sally is marrying your ex-husband next month. Describe everything. Don't leave out any events in your life. Capture the happiness of your successes and the pain of your losses. In the pages of a journal, our innermost feelings and dreams are revealed, as are our strengths, our weaknesses, our positive attributes, and our negative habits and characteristics. Journals and life have something in common. They both give you a space to fill however you want. If you're not sure how you want to fill life's spaces yet, a journal lets you imagine all the different paths you could take. Take your dreams for your mind to the page and turn them into reality in your life. Journals often convey more than what we write, just like actions speak louder than words. Whether you choose to begin a journal and, more importantly, whether you have the discipline to use it, both the decision and the action need to come from within you. No wise counsel from any source will ever replace the intensity that comes from a personal commitment to excellence. Be absolutely certain that whatever you put on the pages of your journal, you can make happen in your life with enough belief, commitment, discipline, and desire. Collect everything: hopes, sorrows, lessons, friendships, achievements, and disappointments. Gather it all to learn from it, and let the lessons you've learned become part of the legacy you leave for your children and the world. Truly, the most valuable treasure anyone can leave behind is the knowledge they have acquired in their one lifetime. As you grow, you'll find that the methods that worked last year might not be enough for this year. Being flexible is crucial for success. We always need to look for better ways to support new ideas. Some people hear this advice, think it's a good idea, and even agree to try it in their minds. The issue is that vague intentions often don't lead to action. We all know what happens to the promises we make to do something tomorrow or next week or as soon as we have a chance. It's fascinating how our minds work. We know what's good for us and can make us healthy, happy, or prosperous. Yet we often convince ourselves that we'll start tomorrow. I'll buy that book and read it tomorrow. I'll start that exercise program. Somehow, we never quite manage to do it. My advice is that if you think a suggestion has merit and that it's worth trying, that you promise yourself you will do it. Life should be a mix of observing and taking action. So my suggestion is to get involved and take action on some things. Let others sit around thinking they can remember it all. Let others treat opportunities lightly, but not you. I'm asking you to take it seriously. Let others wonder at the end of their lives where things went wrong, but not you. Let other people play you study. And while others soak up the sun, you soak up ideas. 10 years from now, they might still be struggling with bills, wondering why their marriage isn't working or why they aren't advancing in their careers, but not you. Life tends to reward those who take their work seriously. Since it's tough for most of us to remember inspiring lines or the details of a business conference for a long time, it's essential to get serious about capturing them now. So I would encourage you to get it all down as it comes your way. But financial ideas, personal development ideas, time management ideas, family ideas, business ideas, and everything else you're fortunate to come across. If an idea is worth listening to or remembering, it's worth capturing. There are many reasons to make the effort to capture good ideas. One important reason is that simply writing something on paper helps to imprint the idea more firmly in our minds. Seeing it or hearing it or reading it is one thing. Taking the time and effort to write it down with paper and pen is much more effective.